Check it out. This place has a history more complex than your relationship status after a summer fling. Let's get into the wild, true story behind Alcatraz. In the 1840s, before it was ever a prison, Alcatraz was known as the Island of the Pelicans by the Spanish. As the gold rush hit and San Francisco exploded, Uncle Sam saw an opportunity. The U.S. Army slapped a fortress on Alcatraz, complete with over 100 cannons. The goal? Protect the bay and its booming port. It's like when you're a kid and you've got a killer sandcastle on the beach and you put a protective moat around it to keep those tidal waves at bay. The fortress soon had another use though, housing military prisoners. Fast forward to the 1930s. The U.S. is in the throes of the Great Depression and crime is on the rise. Bro, I'm talking gangsters, bank robbers, and the kind of guys you wouldn't invite to your barbecue. The government's like, dude, we need a hardcore prison for these hardcore dudes. Enter Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, aka The Rock. Alcatraz was designed to hold the baddest of the bad. This place was more exclusive than the VIP section at a Foo Fighters show, but only the worst got the invite. We're talking about dudes like Al Capone, the big-time mobster from Chicago, playing jazz by night and running rackets by day, and Machine Gun Kelly. No, not the emo rapper. I'm talking about the OG MGK, who earned his nickname due to his weapon of choice, the Thompson machine gun. These were the dudes who kept making trouble in other prisons, so they got sent to this rocky timeout. The idea was, if you could escape the prison, good luck swimming to freedom. Most who tried met a cold, watery end or got a one-way ticket back to their cell. Life inside was intense. It wasn't your average summer camp, bro. These cells were tiny and the rules were no joke. No chit-chat during meals or work, and every inmate had a job, from laundry to crafting license plates. The ambience was eerie. Imagine hearing the sounds of San Fran's parties carrying over the water, yet you're confined on an isolated island. On the plus side, they actually serve decent grub. We're not talking 5-star gourmet meals here, but compared to other prisons of its time, Alcatraz inmates kind of had it made in the food department. The prison's administration believed that good food was a way to keep inmates more docile and content. If you kept their bellies full, there's a lesser chance of them causing a ruckus. The kitchen staff, which was made up of inmates under close supervision, took their jobs seriously. To add a cherry on top, Alcatraz even had its own victory garden during World War II. So, while life on Alcatraz was undeniably tough, at least the food was something the inmates could look forward to. I mean, I wouldn't book a reservation, but it's a fun tidbit in the midst of all of the hard prison lore. But bros will be bros, and escape attempts happened. Over the years, 36 inmates tried their luck in 14 separate breakouts. Most were recaptured, some shot dead, and a few, well, they were never found. Like the famous escape of 1962. Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers made a run for it using some serious MacGyver skills. They chiseled away vents at the back of their cells, creating a hole to an unused utility corridor. Using raincoats, they built a makeshift raft. The next morning, the guards found dummy heads made of plaster, paint, and real human hair in their beds. Were they successful? Did they make it to freedom or get swallowed by the bay? We don't really know, but movies and legends have had a field day with that mystery. The prison eventually closed its doors in 1963. Operating the joint was just too expensive, but The Rock wasn't done making history. In 1969, a group of Native Americans claimed the island, protesting the U.S. government and its treatment of Native peoples. They held on to The Rock for 19 months, shining a spotlight on Native rights and marking one of the longest occupations of a federal facility by Native Americans. Today, Alcatraz is a National Historic Landmark. Every year, millions venture to the island to learn about its past, gaze at the San Francisco skyline, and maybe catch a ghostly whisper from the old cells. It's a stark reminder of America's penal history and a tribute to the human spirit, echoing tales of hope, despair, and rebellion. For my gamer bros out there, you might know Alcatraz from another angle. Ever dropped into Rebirth Island on Call of Duty? Well, guess what inspired that map? That's right, our very own Alcatraz. It's wild how this legendary prison has made its mark not just in the history books, but in the gaming world too. From lighthouse to prison to a video game map, The Rock has more personalities than a Bachelor reunion episode. If you ever find yourself in SF, hop on a ferry and check it out. And don't worry, bro, it's round trip. Bro, if you got a question, put it in the comments.